I really love me some crime dramas, and a new one called Clean Sweep is landing on Sundance now and AMC Plus. But is it worth the watch? A detective from the west of Ireland is looking for a murderer, not suspecting that his wife may be the culprit. So for me, this immediately checked several boxes. A crime show that has atmosphere and mystery, and it's set in Ireland. We follow this family where the dad is a cop investigating the murder of some dude in a manky hotel, and it turns out the dead guy's identity isn't what it first appears to be. He's got a past, and the copper's wife might just know him. Now, this is a short series. It had only 6 episodes, and each of them are around 45-ish minutes to an hour long. Now, the first 2 episodes are dropping at the same time, and then there will be weekly releases for the remaining weeks. Now, this is a very slow burn of a show. And sometimes the term slow burn, it's a nice way of saying boring. Other times, though, it really does mean that the story takes its time while building intrigue and intensity. For Clean Sweep, we get one of the answers right up front, so there's not much mystery that's present. But the past of a character is obscured, giving us bits and pieces as the show goes along in an effort to build an air of suspicion and secrecy. But when I describe this as a slow burn, I mean boring. I kept hoping that the intrigue and the small breadcrumbs of details would amount to something, but they never do. Only one small piece of the puzzle is kept until the very end, but by that point, it doesn't really matter. The series gets bogged down in its own minutiae that don't end up amounting to anything other than suspended drama and angst. Now, for instance, the couple has 3 children, and the oldest son goes through a bit of an obsessive and unhealthy attachment to somebody. And while we watch outbursts and emotional explosions, after a couple of episodes, the entire storyline is abandoned and never mentioned again, leading me to wonder what the actual point of the arc was. Charlene McKenna plays the lead role, and she is wonderful as a brooding and secretive character. She's not very likable as a persona, but we're not meant to be 100% on her side. We're supposed to feel some connection and sympathy for her, but it's fairly difficult to really connect based on everything that we witness. And then her cop husband, played by Barry Ward, that dude is just a trash human. And he's also fairly inept, but not bumbling inept, just self-absorbed and lacking awareness. He's also got quite the set on him to just say some of the things that he does to his wife. And so when we don't feel anything positive towards him other than maybe ambivalence, it's also then hard to be invested in their relationship, which part of this story supposedly rests on. Unfortunately, though, the story, it's very disjointed. It's telling a couple of related narratives that should really converge or even intersect to create powerful drama and suspense. But the show, it gets in its own way and prevents mounting tension and anxiety from ever being produced. Instead, it gives us all the details and removes the mystery. Now, in one example of fractured storylines, there's an arc that surrounds a DCI from London who's investigating a murder from back in the 90s. Now, her case may be intertwined with the dead dude in the hotel, but we get such little inclusion from this side of the story that it feels like an afterthought that's included only for just the convenience and possible gotcha moment towards the end. The characters in this portion of the story, they're absolute strangers to us. And there are offshoot storylines that are unexplored. All of them, though, they lead nowhere. And as each episode went on, I kept hoping that it was going to get better, thinking maybe the payoff would be worth it in the end. Like the show's been saving up for something explosive. I mean, if it was, the result's a dud. The small buildup we get and the reveal that's shown, I mean, we already know it. So everything is anticlimactic. Now, as I was watching, I was thinking that I just recommend waiting until the show was complete before binging. But now that I've seen it in its entirety, no, don't even waste your time with it. The filming is done well, and the cold and foreboding atmosphere is present, and even the effects that's used during flashbacks to wash out and overexpose the scenes, I thought was excellent. But the content itself is frustratingly lacking in depth, nuance, complication, and then resolution. I was really hoping that this would be another excellent non-American crime drama that I could recommend, but the only recommendation I can give is to stay far away from this, unless you need something frustrating to watch that could eventually put you to sleep. Overall, Clean Sweep squanders its premise of a convoluted murder mystery in favor of family dynamics that lead nowhere and story offshoots that are introduced and then ignored. Charlene McKenna in the lead role creates a complex and damaged character, but it's not enough to save the show from its dreadful lack of intrigue. There's sex, some nudity, a lot of profanity, and some violence. I give Clean Sweep 1.5 out of 5 couches. I am so bummed this wasn't better. So, are there any good crime dramas that you've seen lately? Let me know about them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.